Guys, today's State of the Game for Wednesday the 11th of March 2020 has dropped. Some good information that I want to talk about, and difficulty scaling is something we will go through at the end of this video. But guys, as always, if you enjoy my content, drop me that thumbs up. That helps me and the channel, gives me a little bit of traction, so do so. And if you want to see more dedicated Division 2 content on this channel and from me, subscribe for more. Let's do this. Guys, Season 1 Shadow Tide is now live. We're in Seasons time for the next 12 weeks. I'm stoked for Seasons because it's a reason to continually play the game and grind for loot, and especially Striker. Now, I've only had a few pieces here and there drop, so once you start playing the Seasons, you will get some nice pieces early on, which is a start for you to start using the Striker gear set. And that's nice, it's nice to have, so you're in there already with a Striker set. And also you'll earn a cache once you level up to level 1, so that's pretty cool. And in the first cache that I had a Surge, which is the name rifle with perfect spike. So yes, I'm stoked to be using that. Now you also need to claim the Season 1 pass, and that is manually in the shop. Once you claim it, again, it is free, it is retroactive. So anything you have already earned past levels, you will claim and will be in your inventory. So don't worry about that, they will be available to you as soon as you claim it. Now, the Manhunt progression reset. Once you've killed Neptune, you can reset the Manhunt and do it again, which means you are changing your global difficulty. Once you do that, you see a replay mark in the UI, which means you are doing the target again. And that is not a progression blocker to Jupiter. So when the target progression is reset and you see a replay mention, you are fine. When you've done all the target once, you'll be able to progress to Jupiter once she becomes available. Now, there are current seasonal progression issues, and I'll go through those shortly. But again, how is everyone finding the Seasons progress? In terms of the Manhunt, how are you finding it? I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the mission. I'm enjoying the little bounties as well, and the control points. I think it's a really good, nice touch. And again, as I said at the start, it's that replayability of the Seasons that will keep you coming back for more. Now, with the progression issues, there is a Manhunt reset, and you see the progression to Jupiter 0%. That is a UI bug, so don't worry too much about that. Changing the directives on global difficulty should not reset the Manhunt progression. They currently do. But when you add the directives on specific missions and not global difficulty, it will not affect the Manhunt progression. There is also an issue when you lose your directives when joining other sessions. That should not happen. They're also looking into ways to make co-op progression more transparent and accessible. Currently, when your global difficulty is on hard and you join a session with normal difficulty, you will not get progression to your Manhunt. But this is something they want to change and streamline. When you join a higher difficulty, you get progression, and that just makes sense. That should happen. In the future, there will be a dedicated button which allows you to reset the Manhunt progression. In general, any action should not impact or reset the Manhunt they're currently working on. That is something they're working on, and they also something they want to change. Control points not resetting. At the moment, the control points are not resetting when the global difficulty is changed. This is how it should work. When you have taken over all control points, you can reset it by changing the global difficulty. It will automatically change when an invasion comes in or a Manhunt target is active, and there are fixes in work that hopefully get this sorted ASAP. Now we need to talk about enemy NPC health and general game difficulty, which I did a video a few days ago. And again, I weren't complaining, I weren't ranting, I was putting across my point of view in terms of the current unbalancing regarding the scaling of difficulty in the Division 2's new Gear 2.0 update. Now, there has been an abundance of comments from everyone and every source, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, all social media aspects. They are fully aware of how the community in general feel. Now, this is not 100% the community. Most people will, again, be having a lot of issues with this. There are people that are happy with the difficulty settings and the amount of health that NPCs have and armor. I guess it is not for everyone, but the majority of the people that are playing the game at present have an issue. So, the first issue is challenging missions. Now, challenging difficulty is set up for a player that has pretty much a perfect build, maxed out core attributes and so on. And that makes the encounters a bit overtuned in terms of damage and health of the NPCs. So guys, what they're looking at is you need to have the min-max build to again compete in challenging and obviously and beyond. And you know, most of us guys, we've gone straight into challenging and thought we can wreck this, and we've struggled somewhat, and most players have found it very, very difficult. The scaling is a little bit too much in my opinion. It has left many players just stopping, turning off and playing it on hard and below, which is not something we should be doing. We should be playing on challenging, but the spike in scaling is a little bit too much. Now this also limits build diversity, and simply because everyone's either running red or yellow. Simple as that. It's the red yellow or the yellow Lego. Now the problem that I have is that again armor builds are not efficient in this current patch, because why do an armor? Because you're not doing enough damage with your weapons, you have no skill damage, and you cannot tank damage. So why is there any necessity to spec into armor? There is not. So that's why you'll find an abundance of players running a red offensive build, yes, with that reviver hive. That's just again go-to. That's something that I do want to see changed, simply because we don't want to see everyone running the same old shit. Diversity is apparent, and that's needed as the game progresses. And also, yes, also they want build diversity in challenging difficulty. So this is very likely to be adjusted moderately, and only a tad, but still, I don't want things as easy as Title Update 7, but at the same point, when I've thrown a Seeker Mine, I don't want to see it just take off 2 bars of armor on an NPC. What's the freaking point? When you're dealing 2.5 million damage per Seeker, what's that all about? Moving forward, there'll be a point where you can speed run challenge difficulty when your build has progressed enough, but that is not for everybody. Fully understand that. I mean, I feel we're weeks and weeks away from that, and then what we do then is kick on to heroic. So the heroic legendary should stay a challenge for all players, and they should be hard. So if they are getting an adjustment, it will be slightly, because they're meant to be difficult for the players that they are looking at. And again, with my opinion, is there's too much of a spike in terms of balancing, and once that is again rectified, again we can see the in terms of the progression levels more aligned, I feel we'll be in a good place. Bottom line is, any balancing adjustments will also directly impact solo players, because things will be easy to kill and they will also do less damage. For example, the minigun Warhound. Co-op scaling. The NPC's armor, health and damage scaling based on the number of players in the group. They have to scale the armor, health and damage of the NPCs, because they can't just add more NPCs in the confrontations for various performance reasons. While the scaling is not that noticeable on red bar enemies, it becomes very obvious on elite and named enemies, but that scaling of elite and named NPCs is overtuned for 3 and 4 players in a group at this moment. Yes guys, I've been saying this all along, and I'm happy that they've taken notice, and yes, changes are coming. In essence, the difficulties above hard are balanced for very good gear, and the elite and named NPCs scale too strong for 3 and 4 player groups. This combined makes the high difficulties very challenging at the moment. So guys, changes are coming. I admittedly believe they will be slight changes, but the changes we need to see us have reward for our hard efforts. The Dark Zone time to kill. At the moment, it's way too quick. The plan is to make longer so that more builds are viable, also skill builds, yay. Exactly how much longer is still being worked upon. Status effect had also been looked at. Again, that's a massive yay, because PvP is status effect fiend at the minute, because they also have a big impact. Now, the big one for me is in terms of the content. It should be difficult. Yes, I completely get it, and the devs understand that the game should be difficult, but also there should be rewarding. If you're going to face really hard content, you need to be rewarded with God roll gear. Simple as. If you're going to spend hours performing heroics and legendaries, there needs to be the quality of gear that matches, and no purple shit, or a very, very limited amount of purple shit, may I add. Now, what they've said is, while they're looking to adjustments to the difficulties and the NPC scaling, the higher difficulty should be a challenge, and it should be difficult. In TU7 it became too easy to speedrun content, and they're happy with that. Difficulty is back, and they don't want to change it too much. But at the same time, it should not be frustrating and too bullet spongy, where you just empty magazine after magazine in an NPC. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm finding currently, regardless of the setup. It's, again, a bullet sponge fest. So the goal is to adjust the difficulty setups and the NPC scaling to increase build diversity and also make the higher difficulties and better loot more accessible, so that you have better experience climbing the ladder to heroic and legendary. I'm happy, really happy they have made these changes abundantly clear this early on. It took me a few days to realise there's a scaling issue, and then came the video, and again that received an overwhelming response. So it's not just me being a knob or a dick, this is me again speaking on behalf of you guys, the community, that there is a problem. And I'm happy that these problems are being attended to and adjusted. The roadmap to these changes will take time. They cannot do it simply overnight, so over the course of the next few weeks, month, you will see slight changes. And again, I don't care whether it be this week or next week, as long as they are dealing with these issues to make our gamer user experience much more sufficient, then I am happy. The raid will not be affected by these changes, please note. And also, the thing I want to end on is loot. Yes, loot. Higher difficulty should provide good loot, and they are aware that purple items drop where they should not be. Challenging should not drop purples. And again, if you have any evidence of that, guys, let me know. Drop me a video on Twitter, inbox me so I can send it to the devs directly so they can fix it and be completely aware that this shit does happen. Containers in the open world and the missions currently don't scale with the difficulty, so you currently encounter purple drops there. That is also not intended, so hopefully will be fixed. So guys, I'm happy. In terms of purples, and again, I just want to finish on this note. I do believe that purple should drop. And the reason I believe purple should drop, simply because you need that, again, cash mechanic. For example, at a point that we are in the game now, purples should drop in very small quantities, and again, they are simply for two reasons. Reason one, for cash, currency, so then that you can happily re-roll and purchase again new upgrades for your gear. And option two, which is you siphon the best talents from these purple drops if they have a talent on them, and you slap it in the recalibration library so they have a use. But again, what I don't want to see is anywhere near the abundance of purples dropping as stands in the game, because it's just pointless. I want to see in a mission 80 to 90% high ends and then 10% purples. Guys, as always, hope you enjoy the video. This is my state of the game recap. If you want to see more from me on a weekly basis, let me know and I will happily do so on a Wednesday. But as always, hope you enjoy the video. If you have, drop a like, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.